Welcome back to the Sick Boys Podcast. Got another episode. I'm your host, JD Denham. Across the way, my buddy, Justin Wetzel. What up, dude?
Yo.
What is happening? I got a question for you.
Yes.
What was your band of choice this morning when you lifted?
Wow. Interesting. Well, actually, did you see my story already? Well, can we dive into just for a second on this topic because it was interesting.
Is that what you listened to? Let's pull it up.
I listened to Currents this morning and while I trained. But Foo Fighters' new album came out today.
Oh, nice.
It is. But
those guys are sick.
They're great. They've always been great, and obviously they're like the biggest rock and roll band of our time. But obviously this was the first album without Taylor Hawkins, and without their drummer, since he relapsed in Colombia and had a heart attack and died, and or at least that was like allegedly, but it was interesting because the album is so good. It is so good. But there was a dynamic between Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins that just like you could feel it through the recording, right? You'd see them play and you'd watch them like play off of each other and like look at each other and like they just knew what each other was going to do. And you got to remember
how they correlated with each other. You could tell they were best friends.
Yeah, 100%. And like I think it's just Taylor Hawkins was young when he started playing with Foo Fighters. Right. And Dave was like his hero because you got to remember Taylor Hawkins came from Alanis Morissette. Yeah. And he left Alanis Morissette like in the peak of Alanis. I mean, Alanis Morissette was the biggest thing in the world at that time.
Yeah. I remember I'd read some stuff about that and he left Alanis Morissette and it was somebody from Alanis Morissette that had told him that Foo Fighters were looking for a drummer. So it was kind of cool how that happened.
Like, well, they were touring together.
Oh, were they touring together?
Yeah. Foo Fighters and Alanis Morissette were touring quite a bit together.
Oh wow.
Well, yeah, it was, but at the same time, it was still like Alanis Morissette was still kind of that grunge era. She was huge. I mean, anyways, so what's his name? Rubin, Ian or Elon Rubin, the drummer of Nine Inch Nails, is now playing in Foo Fighters.
Okay,
and prior to that, what's his name? Josh Freese was playing drums in Foo Fighters.
I mean, he could do anything though, bro. Freese is a universal. Jeez.
Yeah.
He's been in every band that's ever lived.
So I listened to the whole album this morning and while it was awesome and it's so Foo Fighters.
Is it?
Just it's really good. It's really good.
He ain't going to put out anything bad. The thing about the Foo Fighters is they're so freaking good at their instruments. So, the guitar player where he came from.
The Germs. Well, they're a super group, right? Like, so Pat Smear is from the Germs.
Yeah, not Pat Smear, but No Use for a Name. Because No Use for a Name.
The other guitarist?
Dope, bro. Their guitar riffs, bro, are just fucking
so powerful. That's the other guitarist?
Yeah, he's been in it forever, but he left No Use for a Name, similar to the drummer, left No Use for a Name to go. He got the spot when they're looking for a guitar player, and he rips, man, because No Use for a Name, those guys, their guitar riffs,
they're good musicians.
Pretty freaking for punk rock band.
Yeah, because I knew Pat Smear was in the Germs, and then their bass player, I forget his name, but he was in Sunny Day Real Estate.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, they're a super group. I mean, it's insane what they've created and for 3 decades now have put out, or more than that, maybe they've put out some of the greatest rock and roll. So that was my morning, like my drive into the gym. I listened to the whole album through, making breakfast, doing like my morning routine. But then while I trained today, there's a few other heavy albums. Terror came out with a new album that I started, but I just couldn't vibe it right then. I was just like, I didn't want to do tough guy hardcore.
Right.
So I put Currents on. It's kind of one of my go-tos when I'm not really impressed with some of the newer heavy music that's out.
You resort to that. I like it.
Yeah. What did you train to?
I haven't trained this morning, but I've been training to Minor Threat.
Oh, really?
Throwing in Minor Threat lately. I don't know. Been in that vibe. Old school punk rock, baby. You can't go wrong with Minor Threat, bro. That's kind of like Operation Ivy. Like you forget about them for a long time, and then you hear it, and you're like, oh, dude. Like it just takes you back to high school. You're like, oh, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
We're
So,
not the
so I mean,
first, hope we're not the last, because we know we're all headed. Pull it out,
um,
crash. Dope, dude.
it's funny. I was that's it's I haven't listened to Minor Threat in a while. A couple days ago, I put on some Gorilla Biscuits,
Yeah.
um, and yeah. So it's been I've been going back and forth with a lot of these older hardcore bands. Um,
Good shit,
but
man.
oh, I got to tell you, um, so I went to a 503A compounding pharmacy event in Scottsdale, what was it, like Wednesday night? And it's interesting, right? Because like we do this stuff, and you get into what's becoming more commercialized now, and obviously like um these things have blown up and they're everywhere and everybody's talking about it, so on and so forth. Um it's what it's gone to. And just so you know, like my perception, by going to one of these types of events that were like much more like produced and whatever, is so lame. It's so lame. And it's like it's just
But
you
elaborate on lame. Explain that a little bit.
well, because you put the label of it being like FDA, compounding pharmacy, doctor, and all this stuff on it, and then you see it start to get like commercialized. And dude, I wouldn't have been shocked if like they were like, come to this event and we'll give you a free knife set. Like it was like so timeshare salesy, whatever. And it was like, and then you, so there's that, which automatically makes you think people are full of shit,
Yeah.
right? But then like they didn't know anything. Like the founder was there, didn't know anything. Like they don't understand even what they're selling, and they understand that most of the audience doesn't either, so they're
Yeah.
just bullshitting.
Jeez.
And they didn't know that I do know a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And I happen to be around some of the most brilliant minds in this industry. And I'm not, obviously I'm not calling people out. I'm sitting there because they had free steak. But I'm listening to this and I'm like, this is what this industry is like turning into. Like there shouldn't be a surprise. And if you're somebody who's like, oh, I need to make sure that I'm working with, official as a whistle, like, people and stuff like that. Like these people that come off official, they don't know what the hell they're doing
Yeah, no
really.
shit.
And the people who have been doing this for a long time, that look like they've been doing this for a long time,
Yeah, yeah.
regardless of the name of the letters that are attached to their name, whether it's MD,
Yeah.
this, like maybe consider that we probably know a little bit more based on actual lived experience, and
Yeah.
not to mention using these on ourselves at a
What's
very,
better than that?
there's
Nothing.
nothing.
Again,
There's
we've said
nothing.
it all the time on the podcast. Like, doesn't matter how things read, right? Like, we have like firsthand knowledge of like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people taking these products. So, like, we're going to tell you like what we have found works better, and like we have just so many, you know, real life experiences that we can pull from. But it's funny. So, yesterday, so we're going to have on the peptide, because it's growing really fast and it's going well. And so we're going to have like a doctor like every other week. So, we're starting to plan, and we're having Will's guy that did his hair stuff, and he's getting into peptides like everybody at this point, right? But he's kind of going that same route, 503B, all that stuff. Some want to just do it that route and they just feel more secure, whatever, right? And some people are more kamikaze and they're not as worried because, and it's each his own. It's a wide range of how you like people's comfortability level, and we're fine with it. But we were sitting there talking to him because he's going to come on the podcast and just kind of going over what we want to talk about and whatnot. And I said, let me ask you, because he's an ER doctor. And I said, let me ask you a question, man. I said, do you feel that you've lost your credibility to people, like they come into the ER? Because there's been a lot that's happened in the last 6 years. There's been a lot of people that that hadn't been down the rabbit hole like some of us for years, that finally were like, wait a minute, something's wrong. You know what I mean? And I said,
Yeah.
because you guys were prescribing shit to people that you shouldn't have been prescribing shit because you didn't even know it was in the shit. I was just, me, I'm blunt. And he was like, I'm like, I'm just curious. Like, it's true. You guys are great. You've earned respect. At the same time, you need to know what the hell you're prescribing people, dude. Like the people
Yeah.
that are running to chains of amino acids, you know how I know about them? Because I've been freaking doing them forever,
Right.
and I study them constantly. I'm not a doctor, but you don't need to be a doctor to understand what you're talking about.
Well, yeah. I mean, doctors are the reason that we have an opioid epidemic.
Well said, my friend.
Um, so I don't know where your trust lies, but I happen to be able to
None.
go to any city
None.
and see a slew of people on the side of the roads, living on the roads, on the streets. And they were at one point, many of them, at one point in a pain clinic, or visiting a doctor for minor knee pain or back pain, getting prescribed OxyContin. So their
Green.
teachings and what they've been told to do, and because that's really what, in my opinion, what a doctor is somebody who is taught to do something and
Prescribed.
indoctrined by their college and the many years that they spend in college and invest in college. Which I'm not saying you don't need it, but what I am saying is that their credibility at this point is pretty shot. Um, and and
True that.
and so when you see guys that are like, "Oh, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Eat steak, drink water, sleep like a lot, as much
Yeah.
as you can." And
Right.
and guess what? Maybe like a couple of these things aren't FDA approved. Like creatine's not FDA approved, magnesium's not FDA approved, but we can
Yeah.
all agree that like you should be using
Yeah.
those.
Vitamin C is not FDA approved.
Right. But meanwhile, they're like, here, take these SSRIs. Or take these benzos. You got a
Dude.
problem? You got a problem? Let's put them on ADHD medications
Yeah.
and amphetamines. And you're like,
Totally.
okay. But by the
Spend no
way,
time with them asking about. I brought this up the other day. I don't remember who I was talking to, but where I really started to cultivate my opinions on that stuff. I mean, it's been brewing for years. I haven't had trust in doctors for years, but because of opiates and shit like that, they prescribed me a bunch of shit that they shouldn't have. Now I took them, but I'm not a doctor. I shouldn't have been given 150 Vicodin,
yeah.
and 80
Oh yeah.
Oxycontin and
I have the
100
Pog
Xanax.
dispensers full of
I'm not a
Norcos.
doctor.
Yeah.
Now I abuse them because I'm a drug addict, but it started from the first script, dog. But anyways, I was just talking to this person about just that the rabbit hole and like that stuff, and doctors don't ask anything about your life at all. And where this changed for me is when I was trying to figure out this autoimmune thing for me. I was trying to figure it out, and doctors just wanted to prescribe me, obviously, um, um, whatever, just all the stuff they always do, like antibiotics that are going to fuck up my gut anyway. So I went to this holistic chick that like I never knew much about it. And dude, she sat with me for 3 freaking hours asking me about my life. I was so drained afterwards. She dug into stuff that I had forgot that even happened, right? Pulling shit out of me, pulling shit out of me. And then even when we were over, she was still texting me, hey, what about this? And she was digging into my life like 007 chick, right? Trying to figure out where the genesis of this problem was. And the point of that is I was like, that's how doctors should be. Maybe
Yeah.
not 3 freaking hours, but like it's not like, hey
Listen to
man,
your
you don't
patients.
oh your elbow hurts. Here, take some Vicodin or here's some pills, be on your way. How do you sleep? What do you do for a living? Has anybody passed in your life? Like recently, like any kind of cortisol that you're probably dealing with, because cortisol is a freaking beast it'll knock you on your ass, right? That
Yeah.
stuff, you know what I mean? Like, but they don't talk about
Well, listen to this. So there's two things actually recently. One was yesterday, and then the other has been over the last about 4 weeks. Yesterday, I was at the chiropractor. I go to the chiropractor often because I beat my body up, and it helps me, get adjusted and so on and
and
so
your
forth.
tall tales. You
There's a
need
reason
that.
I go. Yep. So I go to the joint, and the joint, you don't have an appointment. You just drop in, and they crack
Uh,
you, and you're on your way. Well, there was a guy there for his first visit, and he was probably 120 pounds overweight.
mhm.
And I love the chiros. I'm not talking shit about the chiros. They're doing their job. But what the chiro told him was that, you probably need to be on a treatment plan. You probably need to see me every week, and we'll get you, head up to the front, get signed up, and pay the subscription for the weekly visits. But this is what the guy was dealing with: knee pain, lower back pain, hip pain. Okay. Never once did that doctor say that it'd probably be really good for you to lose 100 pounds.
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
And never once did he say, well, also, that you could go and just eat the right food and move more, and you probably wouldn't have any of this pain. No, instead,
Literally.
the doctor did what a doctor does and says, you just go sign up for the treatment plan and come in here and I'll crack you every single week
Totally.
and I get paid. And then that's fine. That's his business. And that's whatever. Second thing, 4 weeks ago, and it might be maybe my timeline might be off. It might be a little bit longer. Christina's younger boy is on the spectrum, and the therapists wanted to put him on mood stabilizers and like all these drugs. And I think I mentioned this on a podcast prior. I might have alluded to it, but I said, "Hey, I was like, babe, do you really want to put him on drugs?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Why don't we try this? Why don't we try pulling sugars and carbs completely out of his diet?"
Yeah, dude. Great idea.
Okay. 4 weeks later, all of his teachers are raving about how focused he is. They're talking about, because like kids on the spectrum tend to lie, or blame other things and stuff like that. Done. He's so focused. We're having game nights and stuff, and he's like 10 times more enjoyable. He when he gets frustrated sometimes or distracted, he gets very, he gets his mood goes off a little bit.
Yeah.
He has been a joy to be around. All of his chores, like like chores that would take him, like that would take a normal person 2 minutes, would take him like 45, done in 2 minutes. Like literally, we did not touch the mood. She's getting alerts from Walgreens that are like, "Hey, your pills are ready." She's like, "I'm not even gonna get them." Like, we're not even gonna get them. Weeks later, it was like, boom. So we just made some dietary changes, and his entire life has changed. JD, we were driving. Listen to this. There's a little boy. He's 8 years old. We're driving to church or something. We were driving. He was in the back seat, and he had his headphones on. He's watching the screens, in the Yukon, and he pulled his headphones off, and he goes, "Hey, Justin," and I go, "Yeah, buddy." He goes, "You changed my life." 8-year-old boy, JD, out of nowhere, just says, "Hey, Justin, you changed my life." And and I was just like blown back, and Christina was like blown back, and was like, "Well, I'd never heard him say anything like that before."
So good.
Yep.
Focus.
Yep. So again, meanwhile, like and this was not what I intended or what we intended on the show to be about, but since we went down this rabbit hole, and we can actually segue into this, it's not that the world needs MDs, the world needs doctors, and we need people to help us when we're sick and when we're down and stuff like that. But if you're looking to better your life, optimize your life, biohack, and do all of those things, understand that a doctor of medicine whose job is to prescribe medicine may not be the person that you trust just because they have the title attached to their name. And history has proven time and time again that they're likely not the person to trust when it comes to optimizing your health, becoming the best version of yourself altogether, using things other than medicine to better your life. In most cases, it's not. And then when you start throwing these people into the world that we're involved in, it's muddying it up. It's making it more confusing than anything. And leave it to the government and FDA and all these things to do that. But I see it firsthand because I'm a huge consumer, and I'm not like as educated as you and other guys, but I know a little, and I definitely know from personal experience. And I sit in here and I listen to these people, and I'm like, "You're full of shit. You guys are full of shit."
Yeah,
and I know that you're full of, and I know you're full of
what you're
shit.
talking about. Like, not only that, they probably have never even done anything they're talking about.
The founder has used BPC for the last like maybe month, and that's it. He had no idea about other products like at all. And they were asking, because he asked me, he's like, "So what are you doing?" And I was like, "What am I not doing? What are you talking about?" And anyway, and like he was just like, he was like blown back, like, and it's funny because I overheard him say to one of the CEO, the founder and the CEO, and he's like, "That guy's a whale." I heard him say that about me. I was like,
Oh my God.
I was like, oh boy. I was like, here we go. But anyways,
well, it's any industry that's thriving is going to have a bunch of dipshits jump into the pool, and unfortunately, guys with a couple bucks can start a company, unfortunately, and sell some things and they have no clue what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, again, we had Jay Campbell on the podcast, which he's well up there in regards in the know kind of stuff coming down the pike, and he thinks that 503Bs, 503As are going to be knocked out completely, and there's going to be like 30% of the companies like ours, like research companies that are going to make it, the companies that test their products well and have really good just systems, and they're legit companies instead of some dude out of his back of his truck or his garage or whatever, because anybody can get shit from China. But the thing is, it's very simple math that people don't understand. You can get anything from China, but like it costs us, we spend like $50,000 at least a month to test these things. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
fucking expensive, but like it has to be done. Like there's no option. Now there's good margins and stuff, but people are like, dude, like, like too much, dude. It gets passed on to the consumer. What do you think Eli Lilly is going to do? They have to get theirs tested. Obviously, it's going to be passed on to you. It's the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
So you might get it cheaper for some dude that you met at the gym, but I guarantee you it's not tested. Don't jab yourself with something that's not
Yeah.
tested, dude. I guarantee you, we have thrown products away because they don't test. You know what I mean? We have
Mm-hmm.
suppliers that are really well, but we have grown so big, we always got to get new suppliers, and we throw shit away because they got tested and they didn't test right.
Right.
On
Yeah.
demand, dude.
So, and that's the thing, like, with legacy, like, we have such a design funnel now where if people like balk at the prices, we're like, you're not for us.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, I don't, dude, bro,
and
this.
yeah.
Like, dude, I literally tell people, this is a premium product. Like, I'm looking for somebody that like this is your life. You're looking to better
Right.
your life. Like, I don't want the cheap people. Those people complain and bitch anyway.
Yeah.
Dude, what's his
Exactly.
name? One of my favorites is the guy that owns school, fucking
Alex
Alex
Mosley.
Ramosi. He's always like, dude, up your prices and just get rid of the people that bitch.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right. Yeah. You can
people that have
save
money don't
yourself a
bitch.
lot of headache by raising your prices.
Seriously,
Um,
bro.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
funny how that
exactly.
works too.
It is. On another topic, so I found this kid and he hosts this podcast and he brings up this topic of retard maxing. And I love it. I love the name of it. But essentially, he's like, just embrace your inner retard. He's like, stop thinking, just start acting. He's like, just start doing things, executing. He's like, become the person that doesn't overthink. And it's so funny because I look at like everybody that I work with and everybody that comes through in any of my programs or any of my platforms, and they get jammed up for forever. And when I finally tell them, like, dude, would you just stop thinking and just start executing?
Yeah.
And it's very hard, very fucking hard for people to just start executing without like getting tripped up in their thoughts and their fears and their perfectionism, and that all turns into procrastination. And it's like it's so funny because if you put such a derogatory like name to it, right? If you're like, dude, be a retard, like just literally just be a retard. Like shut your fucking brain off and just
Right.
like go, this is what I got to do. I'm just gonna do it and figure it, like, and just try it. Even if you don't figure it out, just try it. Like you're gonna probably figure it out. I've talked about the pottery study. You know the pottery study?
I don't know.
So an art teacher in a college took two of his classes, and he took one class and said, I want you guys to make a vase, like a clay vase, and I want you to take the whole entire year to make the best clay vase that you can. And then he took the other class and he said, I want you guys to make as many clay vases as you possibly can for the whole year. Which one do you think had the better outcome?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say the people that did multiple.
Multiple, of
Because
course.
you're taking more times at bat.
Right.
You learn.
Multiple times, right? Like the guy who just the dude who just sat down and was like, all right, I fucked up. Let me start over, try again. Right. And we can look at that in things that we've done in our life, right? Where
Yeah.
like if we've spent so much time on one thing, or the guy who, or somebody who's done like things over and over again, tried, failed,
Yeah.
all of it.
Fuck yeah.
And
Dude,
so
when I on your Thursday night things, one of the things I notice a lot of people where you can see the people that take action, you can see the people that talk about taking action.
Mhm.
And that's kind of things I've seen too, just certain people where I got a buddy of mine that every time I talk to him, he wants to be this influencer, and he's like, "I'm gonna get ready. I'm getting ready to do it." And I'm like, "This has been going on for months and months and months." And I'm like, "Bro, what are we talking about here? Like, I don't even want to talk about this anymore. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
giving you any more advice because it just falls on deaf ears and you don't do shit. Like, you don't gonna get anywhere unless you start taking steps forward, dude. And this is
Right.
really simple math."
Right. And it's so funny too, because I was talking about this yesterday as well, where like failure is part of the deal. So like I'll move so fast that like by the time you do one thing, I failed at two and I've succeeded at one. And you haven't even started the first one. Not you, but
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
who's in their head. Um it's funny because like, we see it a lot in the fitness industry, a lot of fear outside of the gym. And it's funny to see guys who are like, dude, yeah, you got to train till failure before you grow. And you're like, yeah, you're right. You got to train till failure before you grow, right? That applies to everything. You have to accept failure for growth in
Where do you learn
everything.
more? Where do you learn more? In your
Mm,
failures, dude. Right? I don't want to ever do that
totally.
again. So,
Right. So the biggest thing is like turning off your thoughts, right? Like stop thinking about it, right? There is a blueprint for everything, right? There's a blueprint to do anything and everything. And it exists because there's really very few things that nobody has done before at this point in
truth.
in society. Um,
Take action.
so if you just take action and you just go after whatever you're going after, ask for help, right? But then also like keep in mind, like for me, for example, dude, I wasted so much money on finding the right mentor, the right course, the right program. But I literally took action and I just spent the money. And I'd get ripped. My first online coaching mentor ripped me off. Right. Second one over promised, under delivered. Third one was pretty good, but there were things that he wasn't selling that I got out of his program, like one of his employees. Um, uh, it was a matter of, it wasn't even trial and error. It was just like go and either spend the money, because for me it was more about time than it was about money, which is probably
Right.
why I became successful. But that's the thing, is like people even get caught up to like, okay, that's it, I'm going to do this, I'm going to pay a mentor to show me how to do something, and then they get caught up on shopping mentors,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And then they
I'm
they
gonna
end up
find the
getting
best
tired of
one.
that, right? Then it's like, now they're confused by what the fuck I'm gonna do with my mentor, right? It's like it's the same thing for people who are gonna get, for example, and this actually ended up burning me, but at the same time it was meant to save time, and it will, I think, the next time I try it. I'm returfing the house, right? I'm doing our whole backyard and all of that, and I'm not gonna get three estimates, because I'm not going to waste my time or these companies' time, because I think life's a mirror. And I just want to, just tell me what's the best route, what best course of action. Find the place that has good reviews, come in and just get it done, right? Like if I fuck up, right, then it is what it is. If I pick the wrong company, I pick the wrong company, whatever. Like we'll just figure it out. We'll just get it done right eventually, right? It'll happen. It's just gonna happen. Um, but I'm not going to sit around and juggle estimates and like do all this stuff. Like just get it the fuck done. Like
Yeah,
just
dude,
get it done.
I'm that way too, dude. I'm the same way, bro. I mean, I look at it when I started my the channel, my fitness channel. I didn't have a clue what I was doing, dude. And like in hindsight, dude, I almost didn't do it because I had no clue what I was gonna do. I just started putting out content, dude. No direction. I figured it out, dude. You know what I mean? I figured it out.
Mhm.
Just
Let me
do
ask you
it.
this, because I know
Keep
that I
going.
did.
Huh?
I know that I did when we first started creating content and stuff. Did you feel a little retarded?
Course. It's not. I mean, dude, when you're talking into a camera and no one's around, it's weird. But guess what?
Yeah,
Now I do it all the time. I don't even think about it. People are like,
we
they
were
call me the
retard.
one
We
hit
were
wonder
retard
because I don't do a
maxing.
second take. It's usually one take. I'm got it done. You know,
We were
we've
retard
been doing it
maxing
for
before
years,
it was a thing.
huh?
I said we were retard maxing before it was even a thing.
Dude, for sure, bro. We were like
I felt
running it. I
retarded.
just jump in the damn pool, dude. Like just jump in the pool. You'll learn how to swim, man. We're like, I don't know. Like, let me touch it. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Well,
Like, let
that's
me
how
think
they.
about
That's
it.
how you teach a baby how to swim. Like Max. Like I went to a thing where they showed us. They're like, you blow in their face, drop them in the pool. And they
Seriously.
you ever
I've seen it,
teach one of
yeah.
your kids how to swim
Weird.
that way?
So weird.
It's crazy. But sure enough, Max, like, I can remember, like, we were at this, like, it was like a hotel pool too, and it was like blow in their face and then dunk them. And I
That's
remember
weird.
Max was like 2 months old, and blow in his face, drop him. He pops up, and like for a second,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden he's swimming. But then you take a 6-year-old who's never swam before, and they struggle and they're blowing. It's like, oh my god, and they're like flopping around.
Yeah.
Like, you got it. You almost got to like embrace your inner baby. Like, just do what the hell. I'm sorry, it sounded really stupid. And off camera, I'll tell you why. But yeah, you gotta almost just just accept the fact that like you don't know. If there's a topic you're trying to learn, you are retarded. Right now, like when you first start, you're retarded,
Anything.
and embrace it and just do it and watch what's going on around you and do
Yeah.
what they're doing, like, just like you would if you were actually retarded. Like, just pay attention. What did he do? Okay, cool, let's do that. Right? Like, and you'll probably figure it out faster than the guy who just sits there and ponders. Oh, I'm gonna, yeah, and no, you're not going to. You're not going to end up doing it. You're going to overthink. You're going to call yourself a perfectionist, which is not true. Very few perfectionists out there. And even real perfectionists, like guys whose like houses are set up. Like, my dad's a perfectionist. My dad's a perfectionist. Okay, but he's a real perfectionist, right? Meaning that everything has its place in the home. The house is perfect. Everything is always perfect, right?
Yeah.
It takes him like 5 minutes to hire that out and to make it perfect. Like, it's not a matter of like being a perfectionist, like everything, oh, I got to make sure everything's perfect before I do anything. No, he's a perfectionist, meaning like he executes, hires, delegates to make everything perfect in the house. When you walk in the house, you're like, wow, that blanket's like
Yeah.
folded like a hotel. Like,
Yeah.
everything's perfect. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a real perfectionist, but these
Right.
people call themselves perfectionists. No, you're a procrastinator.
Yeah. You're selling yourself on that shit. You're
Yeah,
a procrastinator, not
you're
a
yeah,
perfectionist. How many
you're not a
people
perfectionist.
on what you do would you say is it the 80-20 rule? The 20% are the ones that are doing shit, and then 80%, at least they're joining the program, but they just don't do shit. So
Yeah,
like at
most
least they're
people.
taking the action to like join your program, but then they don't do shit, right? Is it
Well,
80-20?
most people are. Yeah, well, most people information collect or advice
For sure.
collect. And they want to collect all the advice and the information, and they
Yeah.
don't do anything with it. You know what I mean? It's like
I'm
the
gonna
guy
do
who's
it.
read
I'm
like,
gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean?
yeah, I read 20 books, but you read 20 books, but not one of them changed your life.
Well, it's that whole thing about knowledge is power. And it's like that's just unfinished. Knowledge is only power if you apply the knowledge. What does knowledge mean if you don't do shit with it?
Yeah,
If you're
same
really
with
smart and you don't do
manifestation.
anything with your brain, what's the point? You know what I mean?
Manifestation without consistency and execution is dreaming.
Well, that's the key. I think that wraps this whole together is that consistency, right? When you go to the gym, you don't know how to lift yet, but what do? You watch people that do it. You like at least, or get some guys to show it, or you can these days look at freaking Instagrams. There's guys that literally do whole workouts on Instagram. Like, if you say you don't know how to do anything, that's stupid because you have a computer in your pocket. So
Mhm.
that's dumb. You can literally watch YouTube on how to like probably fix your car stereo. I don't freaking know. I mean, anything. That's just
Yeah.
stupid.
Well, it's like when people say like, "Oh, I'm not tech savvy." Like, that is the biggest excuse for being lazy. Like,
Anything can be
tech
found out.
savvy. Right, right. Everything is user friendly. Everything is for people who are not tech savvy. Like, what do you think? What do you think of these companies that build softwares and applications and stuff for what we do? Do you think that they design this to be like, well, we're just going to build this one for the tech savvy people?
Yeah. You're right.
That's our business model, is we're going to isolate out everybody who
Yeah.
who has never used this software before, which is everybody.
Right.
Which is everybody,
Right.
right? So do you think they're like, oh yeah, no, this we're gonna build this user-friendly software, but it's only user-friendly for tech-savvy people who
Right.
also have never seen this software before,
Right.
right? Like so the idea of I'm not tech savvy. No, no, no. you're fucking lazy. No, you won't sit down with a fucking cup of coffee and just sit at the app and like move things around and like all of a sudden like it's like these things are made because evolution has allowed them to be made. Like our brains have been we're good at this now. We're good at using our thumbs and touching these things now. And you're good at the things that you're good at, but you call yourself not tech savvy. You put this wall up in front of you and this technology that's new to you. It's not that you're not tech savvy, it's that when it comes to something new that's introduced to you, you're a fucking pussy. And that's really what you are. You're a pussy. You're tech savvy just fine. You're just a huge pussy when something new is introduced to you.
It's the same thing if like people like learning how to edit or use CapCut or whatever app you want to use, right? If you've never used it, you don't know how to use it. But how do you get good at it? You do it over and over and over and over again, the consistency. Then all of a sudden, like I could cut up a reel and throw it out in like, 3 minutes really, really quickly these days. But when I first started, I'm like, what? You know what I mean? You got to figure it out, dude.
Were you tech savvy when they taught you when you were introduced to CapCut?
I didn't know shit, dude. Like, go look at some of my old posts. I left them. I'll leave them all up, dude. I'll never take them down. Look at some of my old posts, dude. You'll laugh. It's funny. I don't care. It's the learning curve, man.
I never edited a video before.
Yeah, dude. Like, dude, like you just said though, like the talking in the camera, like you're driving or wherever you do, you're like, nope, that's weird as shit when you're doing that, right? Yeah. Guess what? Now is it weird as shit? No. To you? No, I don't even think about it because we do it every day, multiple times a day. Comes second nature. When you first learned how to needed to know how to tie your shoe, did you know how to do it, or did you have to learn a little bit?
No, yeah.
Action.
I was retarded. Retarded. I couldn't tie my shoes. I was retarded, and then I could tie my shoes because I tried it a million times. Now it's easy.
Do it. Just do it. Then if you make a couple bucks, then you can hire people to do it for you.
That's it.
And you hire people to do the stuff that you're not as good at, and then you just focus on the stuff you're good at. That's what it's been working for Warrior Makers. Now Will's almost there. I'm definitely there. I got Andy sitting right there. Andy's my Freddy. And but dude, that's the cool stuff. You make a couple bucks and you hire people that are really good at what they do, and then you focus on what you're good at.
Well, JD, actually, when you make some money and you actually do it, you get to do ultimate retard maxing, right? Because now you have somebody to put your bib on, spoon feed you, wipe your ass, right? Give you a bath, like you get
real quick.
Yeah, you get to ultimate retard max, which means
it would take a long time. It
doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter because you understand. You're like, dude, what do you mean? I don't have to do any of this stuff. Like, I get to be ultimate retard max and just do the things that I'm good at. And delegate out everything to get it done for me. I get to get spoon fed and I get to get sponge bathed because I'm the ultimate retard, and I get to just do the things that make me money and help me change lives. Like, that's it. So, anyways, yeah. So
the beautiful thing about life, and it's a little bit of a catch-22 because there's like guidelines and stipulations to this, but you can get onto social media, whatever platform you choose. And you can make a shitload of money if you just take action. And obviously, you're not going to do it right away. It's going to take a little while, but you can make a shitload of money on Instagram, Facebook, whatever one you want to choose. All of them, whatever.
There's millions of people doing it.
Yeah, that's a pretty
millions of people doing it. It's awesome.
Shit. What was that guy that did like a $250,000 purchase? That skater guy that was teaching people how to run or whatever. I don't remember what it was exactly, but right? Like, how silly is that? But the thing is, like, he packaged up whatever he's into and sold it because he packaged it well, right? Mm-hmm. And sold a $250,000 product, or I think it was for over the year. But dude, bro, you just made $250,000 in one sell. You're doing okay, dude.
You're doing really good. Yeah.
Actually, good shit, brother.
That's it. This is it. Guys, if you like what you heard, make sure you click subscribe. Hey, real quick, I was talking to Kat yesterday, and he was like, hey, I got to tell you, I have pages of notes that I've taken from Sick Boys podcast. And he started quoting back things from us from like our early episodes and stuff.
That's rad.
And he was like, yeah, dude, I got I literally sit down with a pen and paper and I just write down everything you guys say.
That's killer.
And I was just blown back by that. So anyways, Guys, if you've made it this far and you're listening to this, like, understand, like, we appreciate you. You are why we do this. Trust me, we don't have time for this.
No.
We just don't. Like, we make time for this because we hear the feedback and we hear what you guys are saying, and we really appreciate it, and we want to continue to bring you guys a ton of value. So thank you. And if you guys are new to this, make sure you click subscribe. Keep coming back. We have a blast doing this, but the truth is we don't have time to do this. We've had to reschedule these every single week, and we want to continue to do it. And that's why, and you guys are why we do it. Purely, and I love hanging out and having conversations with JD, but we don't need to record these conversations. These are the conversations we have every time we talk.
Literally.
So, yeah. So again, thank you guys for tuning in.
Love you, buddy. We'll talk soon,
Love you,
brother.
dude.
Bye, guys.
All right, man.